Sonic Unleashed is still such a great game. It's still my favorite Sonic game even after all of these years. However, despite being an excellent game, it has its issues. This game would have benefited greatly from more development time because there are plenty of bugs, glitches, and how could we even forget the performance issues? All of these really bring down the experience for me, so it's really a shame that the game was rushed like this. But apart from glitches and bugs, we have entirely blocked off sections in some of the nighttime stages. We call these beta areas, and at first they seem to be inaccessible. However, with the power of glitches, it is still possible to access them. Check this out. If you use the combo XYY and then shield at just the right time, then you can literally go through walls. This will allow us to access those beta areas and explore them. So let's just cut right to the chase, starting with Dragon Road Night. We're selecting a mission called Energy Boost to get to the area we're exploring. So when we get into the level, we see this giant entrance gate thingy right behind us. On the surface, this may just seem like a wall that has nothing behind it, but of course that's not the case. If you do the clip glitch from before, you can get through the gate, or if you're like me, I didn't bother using a glitch since I have a mod that lets me look around anywhere I want. When we get to the other side of the door, it looks like just some empty area, but looking further down, we can actually see the Dark Gaia Phoenix boss arena in the entrance to the Gaia Temple. How cool is that? It's absolutely insane to me how they managed to connect everything in Unleashed. That goes for the hub worlds, the levels, and the actual boss fights. For each continent you visit, it truly seems like these could be real locations that you can explore because it's not like these levels are floating in the air or anything. They're all built into the same environment and they all feel right with each other. This is just really cool. But otherwise, this particular beta area has nothing else. There is not anything to interact with and no objects, for obvious reasons. Most of these areas don't have objects or rings or anything of that sort within them. At least most don't. But out of every location in Sonic Unleashed, I think Chun-nan and Adabat are my favorite areas. They're just so beautiful and lively, man. So let's just move on to Adabat. There's a pretty interesting beta area in one of the missions, and you can actually access this area in a multitude of ways. If you play Act 1 and make it all the way to the end of the stage and clip through the door behind the goal ring, then you can get in there. But if you do it this way, then you won't be able to see any of the objects. Yes, there are objects in this one. Instead, if you go into the mission titled Jungle Fright, you'll be put in a version of Act 1 that just has most of the level blocked off. But of course, there's a way around that. If you use your trusty XYY shield combo on this door right here, then you can access the remaining part of the level. And once you make your way all the way to the end, you should notice that the door is already open, but unlike the last time, there's way more to look at. This room holds a completely unused puzzle that seemingly would have taken place after you fight the Titan in Act 1. This puzzle involves raising the water levels to get higher up until you reach the goal ring. It would be cool if this puzzle was actually functional though. Yeah, the water isn't even here, so if you touch where it's supposed to be, then you will die. But even though it isn't functional, I think this is a very cool concept for a puzzle, because most puzzles in Unleashed only require you to pull some levers and whatnot. None of them were nearly as fleshed out as this one is. Alright, let's head over to Arid Sands Night Act 1 to explore one of the most well-known beta areas. First, we have to get all the way to the end of the stage, which could definitely be a daunting task with low stats because yeah, this level isn't really fun. But once you make it all the way to the end, you'll notice a door located next to the goal ring, and you guessed it, there's a beta area behind this door. Now, you could either use the combo to clip through it, but what I like to do is a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and you're over. Now we can explore this massive area, and yes, this is by far the most massive beta area we're exploring in this video. Just to put it into perspective, this area is basically the same size as the actual playable level. That's just insane. I also think it's worth mentioning how this was reworked into a DLC stage, like thank God for that. If they never utilized this area, then that would be very unfortunate. While unfortunately there aren't any objects in this area, I think it's cool how all of this is hidden in this one nighttime stage. There are countless structures and rooms to explore, even though you aren't really going to find anything. However, it is rumored that there is actually an extra sun medal in this area somewhere. We'll get into that later. Our final beta area lies in Savannah Citadel, in a mission called the Final Exam. Once you load into the level, there is a beta area located directly behind you. You know the drill at this point. Use the clip glitch to go right on through. And now we have access to another unused puzzle. This one isn't nearly as functional as the one in Jungle Joyride. This is pretty much just an unfinished version of the puzzle in Savannah Citadel Act 1, but this time you can easily just skip everything by grabbing onto this thing right here. Also, there's a goal ring too, which is kinda cool, but that's really it. Or is it? Let's talk about that sun medal now. I heard that an elusive 201st sun medal existed in the game somewhere for the longest time. And of course, I always wanted to get it, but I just didn't know where or if it even existed. Fun fact, I wrote an original draft of this video all the way back in 2021, but I never finished it because I couldn't find anything about this sun medal. Absolutely nothing. With how cool this is, you would think somebody else would have covered it in the past, but again, I came up empty-handed. So I did what any sane person would do and took to Reddit to see if anybody knew about this sun medal. And I got no responses. But that's not the end of it, of course. Fast forward to earlier this summer and I was streaming Sonic Unleashed. So apparently there is an extra unused sun medal somewhere in this area. So at this point in time, I was still under the impression that the unused sun medal was in the huge Arid Sands Night beta area. So much to that, my eyes were literally playing tricks on me as I actually thought I saw it in the distance. I think I see it actually. Is it up there? Do you guys see that? Or am I tripping? It's on top of that ledge over there. Do you see that? I don't know how I never noticed that. How do I get up there though? But loading up the game with a free cam mod, I found that, of course, it's not actually there. So I spent the next 30 minutes trying to get over there for nothing. So I thought this was the end of it. I was just about to call it quits and come to the conclusion that the 201st sun medal never actually existed, until I realized something. My original Reddit post actually got a response after over a year, and yeah, the sun medal actually existed, just not in Arid Sands Night. A user by the name of Oh No and Knuckles informed me that there was an extra sun medal in the Savannah Citadel beta area that we just explored. So let's go get it. Back in the beta area on this ledge right here, we can find the sun medal, and yeah, it's right here. It's been here the entire time. It's actually crazy to me how the only reason I haven't found anything about this sun medal is because I thought it was in a completely different area. Now I must address the elephant in the room. This isn't technically an extra sun medal because from my knowledge, it uses data from the other sun medal in this mission. Because even though I've never collected it, it shows that I already did. And just to make sure this wasn't a bug with the emulator I was using, I loaded up my PS3 copy of the game and faced the same issue. But dude, it's just so nice to have finally solved this mystery. Thank you so much to Ono and Knuckles on Reddit for making this video possible, because I really didn't want to make this video without having an answer to all of this. But yeah guys, those are some of the many beta areas in Sonic Unleashed. It's just crazy to me how they managed to make this game feel so interconnected with its level design. It's just very impressive to me. As I said before, it really makes these levels feel more like real locations. I am a bit upset that they clearly had more planned for all of these levels, but they most likely just didn't have enough time. It is a good thing that most of these areas were repurposed for DLC stages, because I would have truly been mad if these areas went completely unused. But yeah guys, that's going to end off this video. I wanted to thank you all so much for the support on my Sonic Frontiers Unused Island video, and I really hope you enjoyed this one as well. But that's it for this one guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.